So let's get started. We're going to take a little time just to focus in on our breath and bring us into our parasympathetic nervous system. So when I say sit comfortably, or you hear a lot of people say find a comfortable seat, it's literally just that. You could be laying down right now, you could be standing in mountain pose, whatever brings you comfort, right? Whatever allows you to relax as much as possible in a pose. That is what you should do. And see one of those little bubbles pop up. It's making me all paranoid. No, I think we're good. Yeah, this new Facebook thing is weird. So hopefully you found a spot. I have a block underneath my bum today just to lift me up a little bit. So just like we do in our mobility classes, let's start at the top of our head and move our way down. Okay, and we're going to do a 4-7-4 breath, which means we're going to breathe in, inhale for a count of 4. We're going to hold it for 7, and then we're going to exhale for 4. So as we begin, all right, good. Carrie's all set. Dogs and husband out of the way. We're going to start at our throat or our neck. And when we inhale for 4, I just want you to try to just think of your neck. That's all you have to do. You're sending energy to it just by thinking about it. So as we inhale, we're going to inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold. 3, 2, 1, and exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. We're still at the neck here. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's move to our upper chest, our shoulders. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale, let the shoulders drop. 3, 2, 1. Let's move to our upper rib cage, our thoracic spine. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. And now let's do our hips and our belly. 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath in. 3, 2, 1. And exhale. 3, 2, 1. Let's do our upper legs. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. And exhale. 3, 2, 1. Let's do our ankles and our feet. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1, and exhale. 3, 2, 1. Now just inhale, nice and slow. Nice big exhale. And settle in. Don't challenge your breath here. We're done with the 4-7-4 breathing. As we prepare to Move the body, finding breathable edges, staying there for a length of time. Let's set the intention of just carrying through, however that may look or feel or be. Show ourselves compassion by not moving into anything painful, pinchy, or pokey. And now we will settle into our first pose, which is going to be half butterfly. I'm going to remove the block from underneath me. If you are on a pillow, you can stay right there. I think that would be a fine choice. I'm going to start with my left leg. I'm going to bring my left leg straight out in front, and my right knee is going to remain bent. Okay. Now your foot can be further down. We're going to be going straight forward over our straight leg. Supports that you can use. You can keep your knee slightly bent. You can place a blanket underneath. This is technically a no prop class, but I suggested getting a blanket because you can suggest a no prop class, but a blanket, I mean, everybody has a blanket. So you can put a rolled up blanket or a pillow underneath your knee to come forward. This leg just needs to be an external rotation. If you find that your leg is really high up here, you can feel free to straighten that out a little bit because we are going to be focusing. This is our target. Before we settle in, find your spot. I'm going to put this bolster underneath for a little bit of support because I felt myself pulling back, right? So if you feel yourself pulling back, you can put a blanket underneath. I am not checking my messages here. I have a handy little timer that I'm going to use. So let's face that left leg that's straight out in front of us, and we're going to crawl ourselves forward until we surrender our body over the left leg. And just settle in here. This is going to work a little closer to our spine and our lower back, okay? You also may feel this working in your hamstring, and we want to make sure that it's the upper part, the meat of our upper leg, not necessarily focused on the back of our knee. If you feel a lot of tug in the back of the knee, please go ahead and put a blanket underneath it to lift that knee up off the ground. And also you can give yourself a little arch to your back if you like. Otherwise, we are hanging here. This is heaven. I've got 2 sleepy dogs around me, right? So take in whatever you have around you as your soundtrack or your backdrop, right? Studio classes are wonderful, but when you can actually relax and find space and stillness in your own home where you spend most of your time, I feel like that is such a benefit and such a wonderful thing to be grateful for. You're creating a little space of stillness for yourself. You know, some feel their house is not the spot to be able to tap into that. Exhale into that right hip, of that externally rotated hip. Slowly start to peel away those little bits of tension. If you feel any sort of tension in your neck, you can feel free to put your elbow on your thigh and hold your cheek. Take a few more breaths here. Bring your hands to the floor or your leg, push into your leg or floor, and bring yourself back up to center, nice and gentle. And you can bring your hand underneath your knee and slowly start to bend the knee. We're going to switch right to the other side. So however you can safely do that. But in between sides, I have to shift myself for the Cooper. Again, we want to be right over that right leg, but we're going to take a few breaths of pause to just feel the left leg now in external rotation. It was straight out in front of us. You know, what do you feel in your hamstring right now? What do you feel on the inside of that left leg that's now in external rotation? You know, bring some adjectives to it. I feel a little warmth. It feels looser. We're going to set ourselves up on the right side. So I'm going to just turn my torso just facing forward and start to bring myself over that leg, checking in briefly before I settle in to make sure that any stretching I feel in my hamstring is mostly in the meat of my hamstring. I am going to support my knee on this side, relaxing the foot out, in, straight, however your foot lands. It's just an indication of if you're more naturally externally rotated or internally rotated. And we're settling in here. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my elbow on my thigh, right above my knee, not on my knee. And I'm going to hold my chin. So this is an asymmetrical position for us. And it's going to tug a little closer to our spine than a symmetrical forward fold. There's something very comforting if you do have your face cradled in your hand. There's just something very comforting about that. And as we go through, I will be speaking less and less. So feel free to just acknowledge the thoughts going through your head. None of them are wrong. Thinking that they're wrong is the only thing that isn't recommended. Drifting in and out of stillness. You can always anchor yourself with your breath. Notice where your breath is filling and emptying in your body. Exhaling into that left hip. As we round out our time here, relax your jaw. Let's take a few more breaths. And bring yourself back up to center by using your hands on the floor or your body. All right, let's bend both legs just briefly. And take a few moments of pause here. The summer is a season of discernment. In Chinese medicine, it is ruled by the organs, the heart, or the pericardium, and the small intestine. We're able to discern what's going to serve us and what is no longer going to serve us. So the small intestine takes in the nutrients and dispels of the rest of the waste. Our heart can do the same thing. A mentor of mine described it as a drawbridge. So you can open up the drawbridge of your heart and you can let something in. You can also let things out. All the while creating more space for the things to bring in the things that serve you. Let's move into child's pose. If this is not a pose that is accessible to you, maybe because of your knees or it's just not comfortable, we're going to do a wide-kneed child's pose. Before I move into child's pose, go ahead and move into it if it's good for your body. The alternative is to come down onto your back a little more safely than I just did. And you can bring your knees. Sometimes I like to put my hands in my knee pits so that I don't have to hold on and I can really relax my arms and my shoulders. So you can stay here. If you have a wall nearby, you can also have your feet flat up on the wall. I find that that's really a nice alternative as well. And normally child's pose for us in our previous yin classes together, if you've taken them as, has been a transition pose. So today we're going to be in it for a couple minutes. So that's why it's important to choose the right one. Now for me today, my neck, I was doing some work on my neck yesterday. So you do not have to do as I do, right? But I am going to support my head in child's pose today. So let's bring ourselves and settle in. If you're already settled in, we're not going to be here for a very long time, but we will be here for a couple minutes. You can have your arms all the way out straight, or you can have them behind you. And done safely, this is actually a wonderful stretch for the front of your knee. But as always, don't move anything painful or pinchy or pokey. Let's take a few more breaths here. And we're going to release ourselves out. This is going to be just one more pose on the knees. I like to limit this as much as possible, but sometimes aren't necessarily able to avoid it. We're going to move into tabletop. And we're going to do thread the needle again, since this is one of the organs in Chinese medicine is for our heart. Our heart also is accessible through our backs, right? So we're going to be down like this, and our arm is going to be all the way over with our shoulder down. I'm going to show you a front view of that in a second. But I was thinking really hard about an alternative to this, and I thought we could turn it upside down. So if you were on your back with your legs forward, and if you were up against the wall, you could do this too. But if we twist over to the right and bring our right arm to hold on to our left shoulder, okay, I just want some sort of relaxing to happen through the legs, right? So if you have a block or a pillow to put underneath, we don't want our left hip to come so high off the ground, but we do want the back of the right shoulder to feel a tug and to open up the back body, the upper back, okay? So this is gonna be our little makeshift alternative to the thread the needle, which I'm going to show you from the front now, just so you get an idea. My butt's just going to stay up in the air. I'm going to come down onto my elbow first because I'm going to bring my left arm a little bit higher. And I'm going to lower down onto my shoulder and bring my ear and my shoulder to the ground. And keep this arm straight out or close to me, whichever feels more comfy. And we're going to stay here in whichever shape is working for you. I'm actually going to try the new shape. See if it's a similar And let me know what you think of this pose on our backs if you are here. This is almost like a double duty pose here. All right, let's slowly release out of this side. And I trust that if you are in tabletop right now, that you're just going to simply come up. You can come back to child's pose. I'm going to bring my knees into my chest if you are on your back, just to release and reset the back. Also to take a few breaths of pause, just to feel the difference. And then we're going to move to the other side. Again, it's not going to be a very long hold here. I'm going to get myself set here. My legs don't come together in a twist. So I did like having the wall on the other side, but I'm just going to go with it and see what I can figure out here. I'm going to bring my left arm, my left hand over towards my right shoulder. And I'm just going to breathe and relax here. We're not necessarily looking for any sort of stretch in the right hip. It's more the twist in the upper body and the tug or expansion behind the left shoulder, okay? So if I was to do this with my legs, I feel like it's fine. It's taking away a little twist from my torso. But think of the intention of this pose for you. Do you want to feel a deeper twist? Then bring your leg over. If it's more important for you to feel the tug behind your shoulder and your torso, then your legs can take whatever shape they need to meet that need. I did also experiment with this up against the wall or on my couch. All of them were fine. Let's take a few more breaths here. And slowly bring ourselves to center. If you're on your back, you can bring your legs straight out in front. Take a few breaths of pause. If you are in tabletop, you can push back to child's pose briefly. And from whatever position you are in, we're going to make our way to our bellies. So you can just bring yourself nice and easy and mindfully forward. If you're laying down, I just recommend pushing one foot into the floor to help you roll over. I'm having a little trouble rolling over today. I just wanted to go over to the left for some reason. I think my body is aching for twists, right? All right. I'm going to move my microphone just right in front of me. And let's lower our heads down towards the mat. I like to put my hands, stack my fists one on top of the other. You may like your hands flat down, whichever brings you more comfort. We will be moving into Sphinx, which resembles baby cobra. If your lower back is feeling tender, This is your shape then. You do not have to come up onto your elbows at all. This gives you a nice tractioning and compression in your lower back by itself. This is a pose in itself. So if this is your shape, this is where you can set your intention to carry through. If you would like to join me, I'm going to be coming up onto my elbows. My elbows are right underneath my shoulders, creating my stability here, right? I'm going to clasp my hands. You can have them flat if you have the range of motion in your elbow and your wrist to lay them flat, and that's how you feel most relaxed. You can clasp them in front of you, or you can hold on to each elbow. Okay. And to come into this pose, you might also feel as you're coming up that your glutes, your bum is contracting. So what we're going to try to do is just relax that throughout this whole time here. Let your collarbones sink in between your shoulders. Adjust your elbows if you need to. If you have a pillow or a block, if your neck feels unsupported here, and like I was telling you, mine does today, so I'm going to honor that and hold a block in front. Relax the legs. We're letting our nervous system and our mind know that our body is safe. Letting the muscles relax. As we round out our time here, following along with some conversations about Chinese medicine, the summer being heart and small intestine. Our arms and lifting our arms above our head or working on our shoulders is working on our heart and lung meridian lines. So we are going to continue that. So slowly come out, and we're going to bring our heads, bring ourselves down. If you're already down, just stay right here. We're going to take a few breaths of pause right here. Because as we move into the next two postures here, shoulders can be a very challenging thing to tend to, and it really all depends on your body today or your body just in general. So take care here, and for some of you that have been in this session, you can do this next pose on the wall, but you won't get that tone of that relaxing stillness and releasing of the muscles because you'll be standing. Nice. All right. Good, Carrie. I'm wondering if you're talking about the Sphinx pose, but hey, maybe you're talking about the other one. We'll talk about that later. So this one is a yin version of some of the strength work we did in the front of our shoulder. Okay, so I just lost comments, folks. That is okay. My computer decided that we don't need them anymore, I guess. So, to move into this pose, you're going to bring your right arm out to the side and lower yourself down, bringing your arm out to the side to bring it up like a 45-degree angle to start with. We're actually going to be rolling onto our right side. This sounds scary. If it sounds super scary, you can do this up against the wall. But we're going to give it a shot today. So I'm going to start to roll over, adjusting my arm. And I'm glad we're doing this in this group because you can internally rotate your shoulder if you need to. And you could do as little as you need. Right here is good for me. The front of my shoulder is being super tight right now, and that's okay. So I'm going to stay right here. So we're doing our right arm first, but I'm going to show you what I look like from the front to give you a frame of reference. I'm going to bend my knees, and I'm going to hold myself up right here. And as I breathe, I'm just going to relax the left shoulder. You may be in more of a twist than I am, but this can be fairly intense. I'm going to set my timer for the regular amount of time that we usually do this, which I usually try not to say out loud. But feel free to come out of it. We've already been in it for a little bit of time if you're finding your way. Whew. But this is one of those ones that I feel like is going to feel really good coming out of it. And I also feel this in my upper ribs, which is interesting. If you have a blanket, you can always put the blanket underneath your face. Ooh, some strange things are happening in my arm right now. Again, for us in this session especially, you can feel free to move yourself up against the wall. You can even sit cross-legged facing the wall and get this stretch in. With each exhale, try to relax the right shoulder. With each exhale, soften the right shoulder. Try your best to release the muscles in the arm. Finding that breathable edge and setting the intention to carry through. Again, you can always move yourself out. And on your next exhale, let yourself come back onto the belly. Woo, woo. Oh. I promise I didn't purposely make the comments go away after asking you to do that. Just relax here. Take a few breaths of pause. And now let's move ourselves to the other side. So find the position that works for you. Find your arm position that works for you. Oh, this is such an awkward, I think my brain is like scared of this, right? So I'm trying to be super gentle with myself. You could hear it in my voice even, right? I can't get that far, but I don't care. That's fine. This tug feels really, really nice and also necessary. Right? This is almost having a little bit of a therapeutic effect. I feel, again, I always like to share what I'm feeling during this. I feel an emotional bubbling. And again, I'm still just breathing. I'm acknowledging that, and I'm breathing into the shoulder area, trying to soften the shoulder. And slowly release. Ooh. Bring yourself back down on your belly. Turning yourself slightly to one side, bending your knees, bring yourself up, come back into child's pose. And I do like to keep everybody a little bit like one step ahead, right? We're going to be on our backs doing figure 4 and taking care of our legs because we did a lot of shoulder focus today. But I will be showing you up against a wall. So if you have a wall, a chair, a couch, an ottoman, anything nearby that you can put your foot up on, I think that would be kind of lovely right now, especially after feeling how much of the shoulder work, like working through that energy. It might be nice to relax our upper bodies completely and just let gravity focus on our hips. So if you are in child's pose right now, just stay right there for a few more breaths. Wonderful. And let's make our way over to the wall or the chair, whatever you have. We're going to safely bring ourselves to the wall. And let's bring our legs straight up and stay here. Catch our breath here. You know, catch our breath is something that people say when you've, done something strenuous. But I think catching your breath is, for me, it's just being mindful of your breath and also like coming back down. We're in a new position here. If you're on your back without the wall, just have your feet flat on the floor and your knees bent. Feeling your upper back and your mid back and your lower back all safe on the floor. The weight of your hips into the ground. And let's start with our left leg. Let's cross our left leg over our right into a figure 4. Anywhere above the knee or below the knee is perfect. Just don't put that pressure of your leg on your knee. And now I'm going to drag my heel down. If you are laying on the floor, you're simply going to cross the left leg over and then bring your whole lower half as a unit up towards your chest. Or just bring it towards your chest and maybe rest your right foot down on something. It could be the ottoman. So what we're looking for is a nice tug on the outer leg. Foot is relaxed, the knee, the shin. Playing around with the knee, moving further away from your face or closer to, might help you access the sensation there. Once you find your spot with that breathable edge, settle in. Breathe into your shoulder area. Maybe you can imagine them sinking ever so slightly through the ground. Your arms can be in whatever position brings you comfort. Relax your jaw. Let's take a few more breaths here. And very gently, you're going to straighten the right leg. If you're laying on your back, bring your lower half onto the ground, keeping that left leg crossed. So your right foot is on the ground now. And slowly release that left leg and let it meet the right wherever you are. Take a second and notice the left side and the right side, how they feel different. What about the left side of your back, your left hip, your left shoulder? A few more breaths of pause here. Now our right leg is going to cross over our left, and we're going to come into the same position on the other side. But since our sides, as you know, are so different, find that breathable edge. We don't want our bum coming up off the floor. If it is, please move your left heel a little further up the wall, or just push yourself a little bit further away from the wall. This is wonderful. Wall work is wonderful for the gas pedal. You can really find your spot. And let's settle in here. As we round out our time here, just reflect on this practice today. It seems like it's a beautiful Saturday outside. We have one more pose before we move into a seated or a relaxing state laying down. I leave that totally up to you. I invite you to, after this last pose, to sit with me just for a few minutes. It might be an active day for you. It might be a day to reset and relax. So choose whichever position in Shavasana or in seated with me that will feel good for you. So the last pose that we're going to do here, some of you might be familiar with Happy Baby, where you're holding onto your feet. You can do Happy Baby up against the wall. So let's release out of this pose by dragging our heel, our left heel, up the wall, releasing our right leg. Stay here for a few breaths. Ah, that feels good. Sorry, I also like doing the recordings or the lives is I get to practice along with you. If I can't see you, there's no reason for me to be up by the screen. So to move into Happy Baby, for me personally, I like to bring my hips closer to the wall. If you are on the floor and you like Happy Baby, go ahead and move into it. You bring your legs out to the side like this, right? There's tension in your arms. It's not terribly relaxing. But if you want to do it up against the wall, and this is also a wonderful, we're basically doing a combination of squat and Happy Baby up against the wall. And since we're doing this in the July sessions, you may recognize this as bear sit. Oh, this feels so good. So, if you've always wondered what a squat feels like and how opening for the hips it is, doing it up against a wall or your couch or a chair might be a little bit more difficult. Bring your arms straight out to the side. It's almost like makes you feel like you're just totally surrendering. Feel the 3 points of your feet, your heel, and maybe your big toe and your little toe. Spread them wide and have them all making contact with the wall. Now my bum is close to the wall, but you are well aware, maybe even can predict what I'm going to tell you. It's going to be different for everyone. So please play around. If you've never done a squat Happy Baby up against the wall, play around. We've got plenty of time. All we're going to be doing after this is relaxing. So when I say take a few more breaths and we're ending this pose, you do not have to end the pose then. Okay? Key 2 is that we don't want our bum coming up off the floor. I don't know about you, but this feels awesome. No need to challenge your breath. Checking in with your hips and your legs, making sure there isn't anything pinchy or pokey or anything too compressing. And the position of your feet can honor the direction of your legs. So if you are externally rotated, you can have your feet 45 degrees out. Some of us might be right here, and that's wonderful. The rotation in our tibia obviously could come into play here, but we want our knees to be relaxed. So all we're doing is honoring where our legs are naturally going. As we round out our time here, I invite you to direct your breath, or like we were doing in the beginning with the 4-7-4 breath. We are opening up literally our second chakra, which is in our sacrum, right? In our groin area. So just acknowledge and maybe take a moment and feel what you're feeling in this whole area here, right? From your head to your bum. Where is that breath going? Do you feel cold air? Do you feel hot air? Now, as always, we want to safely come out of this so we can heel toe our feet and bring them back up the wall. If you're laying on your back here, you just have your feet either straight out, or you can have your feet on the ground, your knees bent. Now we're going to safely come up to seated, or you can bring yourself to your back. Take your time. We're shifting where the energy's going in our body. Okay, so take your time. Coming up safely. Find that comfortable position for yourself. Bring any movement that feels good to you here before we intentionally stay still just for a few breaths to close out class. Feel free to stay in Shavasana or stay seated for as long as you like. This is your time. And now let's just be still. Now's the time where you can set an intention for your day, enjoy the quiet, don't set any intention at all. Take this tone that you've created for yourself during this practice throughout your day. Even in more strenuous activities, you can still find stillness in all of that. You can even find stillness in laughter. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for this practice. I hope you enjoyed this practice today. I know I did. Oh, look. And now she's done too. They all took naps. So let's bring our hands in front of our hearts, or you can fold them over your heart. This time of summer, this time of sun, imagine a sun growing lighter and brighter between your hands and your heart. May it burn so bright that it starts to burn away any negative thoughts, any negative feelings, or allow you to burn up any negative thoughts or feelings from others. May it also shine light on those things that bring you joy and that serve you through your day-to-day, through your life. And allow you to see new ones, to see new things that bring you joy. Love, laugh, and play. Namaste. Thank you. All right, I'm going to turn this off, but check in on any comments that may have popped up.